And that's going to bring up the man of the hour.
Saunders hits this one deep to left field. Saunders gets into one high and deep. Center deep. Spot is back at the track, at the wall. Home run, Saunders. It flies up. Here's the throw. Game on the line. He threw it out. What a Michael Saunders, what a brilliant throw. Hit well. Michael Saunders.
Yeah, well, I think, honestly, I mean, in order for me to give the right recognition, the beginning starts when I was 15 years old. And,
Right.
And whenever it was, so there's this Baseball Canada, like a awards banquet every year in January. And Greg Hamilton, anyone who knows Baseball Canada knows Greg Hamilton, but for the outside public, he doesn't get enough recognition. Like, this is the engineer of the Walkers, the Morneaus, the Dempsters, the Vottos, those guys.
Yeah.
You know, it all starts with Greg Hamilton in the Baseball Canada banquet, organization.
Right.
So I was a part of the team at 15, and you know, so that is what introduced me to the WBC, to everything else. And it wasn't just that, but obviously the guys that came before me, you know, my idols, like, you know, Morneau and Vottos, Dempsters, Walkers, Francis, the list goes on and on and on. Martin, those are the guys that kind of paved the way for us, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, any chance you get an opportunity to wear the Canada uniform, and I think I can speak on anybody's behalf. When you wear your country's uniform, there's a different, you know, nature to it. There's pride involved. There's not just pride. Like, you're playing for pride whenever you play, but it's more of an individual pride. You wear that maple leaf across your chest, all of a sudden it's like, you know, I don't care if I went 0 for 4. Did we win?
Yeah.
That kind of thing. You're very proud to be able to wear Canada across your chest, and it's something that I've never taken lightly. I've worn that jersey since I was 14, 15 years old. For me, I'm very satisfied with how my career ended. My career started with wearing the Baseball Canada uniform, and my career ended with wearing the Baseball Canada uniform this year at the Premier 12 in South Korea.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like one of those what goes around comes around sort of things.
So, yeah, I mean, I've known quite a few people that go on to play, you know, junior national team, and every single one comes back. And this year, BC sent 10 kids to the spring training, which is, you know, for a 40-man roster, that's pretty good, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's 1/4. Not
yeah,
bad.
yeah. You know, the other half was basically Ontario, but
yeah, exactly. Typical.
Everybody loves it, you know, and it's such a great opportunity for kids to, if at the worst, go to Florida, you know, which go to Florida and play baseball in the heat. And that's pretty rare for, you know, quite a few kids that are trying to play baseball. And we, you know, as Canadians, we don't get as long as of a season our entire life as California kids or Texas kids. So it's massive, I think, for Baseball Canada to be as good as they are at inviting these kids who have, you know, a lot of potential and a lot of talent to be able to go to these kind of events.
Yeah, 100%. And again, you look back at Greg Hamilton.
Yeah.
The guy that never gets enough love, and he should be getting so much more respect than he's very well respected, don't get me wrong, but you know, for myself, for guys that come out of Canada, it's like a lot of us may not be where we're at. You know, we always throw mom and dad love, right? Our high school coach love. Greg Hamilton deserves just as much love as anybody else, because he's the one that really exposes us to this international competition. From now, you know what? Now it's not as bad. It still is, you know, it's a hidden gem, but beforehand, it's like, oh, Canadians, bunch of hockey players that never, whatever, you know. But for him to, like you said, get these kids down to Florida under the lights, playing year round. It's like we never got to do that in the first place if it wasn't for him in the national program. And some guys didn't even make the national program and still did great for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't want to pinpoint it on that, but it's a huge opportunity. Again, you name Florida. It's like, for us, it's the furthest away from home. Everyone always said that. Oh, well, you chose the furthest away from home. I went to Tallahassee Community College. I went to the Panhandle Conference, and I don't know why or what it was, but it's saying to me. It probably had a lot to do with the fact that the junior team always trained in Orlando, right? Disney Sports. But just the opportunities there and the avenues that are created. Florida is obviously a mecca for baseball. I think it has a lot to do with the fact that the junior team trains out there and allows you to be exposed. Like, for instance, for me, my manager at TCC was the pitching coach for Team USA, and that's how kind of we got connected. But essentially, it's like these avenues for players where we might never have that opportunity. It's like there's endless responsibility and endless gratitude towards Baseball Canada.
Yeah,
and I know nobody has the same story, but that's my story. That's the reason why I got exposed.
Yeah,
and I'll forever have gratitude towards the program.
So the one thing that I love most, I think, about the 2008 Olympics when I was looking at it is that there were no MLB players, which I know, like, that kind of saturates, I suppose, like the spotlight of having baseball in the Olympics by not having, typically the best in the world there. But I love the idea of it because it seemed like it made it a much more even, like, not even playing field, but for a lot of countries that don't have a bunch of MLB players, it makes it a lot more competitive in terms of who could win this thing, and really it's anybody. So kind of going in as a Canadian, you were in the minors at the time that you were in the Olympics. Is there a different feeling between, like, you guys going in to the Olympics versus you guys going into the WBC?
Yeah, I would say, again, I can't speak on behalf of all countries, but when it comes to Canada, I can tell you that everyone that wears that uniform, like, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I don't mean this to your question. I'm just answering it. Like, that's what makes Canada dangerous in baseball, is the fact that we're always that team that can beat you on any given day. Are we expected to win? No, probably not. But it's like, we always face their number one lefty. Or we always, you know what I mean? Because it's like they have to beat Canada.
Yeah.
We're in Canada. They have to beat Canada. Otherwise, if they don't beat Canada, then they're probably not getting on. Like, we're the team that we always see their best because we're the team that can beat anybody on any given day. And I think that's what makes us dangerous in the international pool. And with the Olympics, it's like, you're not getting your best guys, right? I got the opportunity to go in 08, and my God, I'll never forget it. To be able to call myself an Olympian for the rest of my days is pretty special, obviously, and I'll never take it for granted. And, it's sad with what's happened lately. I hope that, because it's like I wasn't scheduled to go. I'm done. My playing career is done. But I also do know some guys that are holding on that are, my age and very close personal friends of mine that have sort of the same trajectory of career that are like, Sando, you're coaching now, you're going to be managing, but I'm trying to hold on. I'm going to play this one last tournament, which is the Olympics, and then I'm done. This thing gets postponed. They might not be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I hope it gets, figured out sooner rather than later. But to be able to call yourself an Olympian, not many people can do that. Even the greatest baseball players in the world, some of them can't do that.
Right.
So that's obviously special. The WBC, on the other hand, again, and I'm going to say this for Canadians, it's like, we're not there to get ready.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Some of those guys are there to get ready. And that's, again, what makes us dangerous. Now, I don't think we've ever put together, like, our best team possible on paper. I think year to year we have 90% of our guys or 75% of our guys, and then for whatever reason it's like contract years or you go to a new team or whatever it may be. It's the WBC is a really sort of testy tournament. I agree with it. I'm glad it's around. I want it to continue. But Canada's never represented Canada fully in that tournament. That being said, I remember I was rehabbing my shoulder in 08, 07, 08, whenever it was, 06.
Which?
When was it when we beat the U.S.?
06.
When Sterney hit that triple above Griffey and right?
Yeah.
And Lowen just pitched the game of his life.
Yeah.
06. I was in a Hooters, and I was in a minor league. I wasn't even old enough to drink yet. I was having waters. It was during the day, and I was with all my buddies, and I mean, the whole place was silent, and I was the only one. And I can't believe I was celebrating with beers. I was celebrating with lemon waters. I was throwing waters up in the air. It was unbelievable because I was a Mariner guy, and there's a Hooters right across from Peoria, our sports complex, and our hotel was literally I could roll a baseball to it. That's how far we were apart. But I wasn't a part of that team. I really wish I was, but that's sort of my biggest. Like, obviously, I played in 13, but I think 06 was the biggest.
Yeah.
The biggest outcome for Canada, right?
Yeah.
The WBC.
Yeah, that was special for sure. You played with Mike Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was my coach. He was my coach in high school. And
you're dating me right now, man.
Well,
hey, he was a lot older than me.
Yeah, no, I know. He was in Korea at that point, right? So no, and I can't remember if he pitched that game or not, but I remember him telling me about that game and how special that was, that they finally, got to beat the USA.
It doesn't matter what sport it is.
Yeah.
It's like
miracle, right?
Even you know how it is, even hockey.
Yeah.
Well, now we can't say that as much. Like the Americans are, I mean, they're pretty top notch when it comes to hockey, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much of an upset. It's just who's going to win.
Yeah.
But even 10, 15, 20 years ago, it wasn't even an upset. If we lost to the Americans at hockey or whatever it was a huge deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we beat them in baseball, though, however, oh yeah, don't think that we didn't let them feel it.
No, it's a lot sweeter. That's right. I talked to Renee about the brawl in 2013 because
the infamous brawl.
I rewatched it, and he was batting at the time, and I found out that was his only plate appearance, and I just found that was like one of the funniest only plate appearances in someone's WBC, and we were joking about him being immortal.
Yeah. He might be one of the most infamous Canadians for that at bat.
Yeah.
Or that stash or goatee.
So I would say from that tournament, there's two immortal dudes from Team Canada. He was one of them, and then you hitting 727, which I don't even understand how someone can hit 727 in a tournament round.
I used to be all right.
What were you seeing beach balls for that week or what?
Know what happened, man. You know how it is. It's like if you played, you kind of in the zone, and I don't know what it was, but I was seeing it good. Yeah, and obviously I had guys like Votto, Morneau, those guys in front of me that were always on base.
Yeah,
so that obviously helped. But man, I'll never forget it. Like, I still get questions about that brawl, and I'll never forget when Renee got thrown at for the second time and it came to 2-0 and they missed him, and he kind of like rolled in and spat on the ground and kind of looked at the guy and like shoveled the dirt.
Yeah.
I can say this because Renee's a really good friend of mine, so I don't mind talking shit. But it was obviously a great tournament for more than one reason. But ultimately, I mean, we ran into Italy. I think everyone ran into Italy. Italy really outperformed, or not, I shouldn't say outperformed, but they surprised a lot of people, and we weren't the only ones. So
yeah. So you're moving on now. You're a coach with Atlanta, right?
Yeah, in the Brave system. Yep.
Yeah, I'm curious. Like, what are you looking forward to most about being a coach?
Just starting the next half of my career. It's like I always knew I wanted to stay in professional baseball. Obviously, I would rather be a player as long as I could be. But as soon as I knew that was beyond me, I never wanted to be that. We've all played for him. I would never want to be that guy that held on to think he could still play. And, don't ever forget how hard the game is. That kind of thing. And when I finally realized that I couldn't get a job anymore and my playing career was over, I knew that I was ready to start the next chapter. And I went down to Instructs with the Braves just for outfield and base running, and I absolutely adored it. And that's when I knew. And this was like a guest coach. This was before I got hired on, so I knew that this was for me. And thank God my wife and my family are understanding. Like it's tough being away, and I got 3 young kids. I got a 7, a 5, and a 2-year-old, and obviously a very special wife that understands kind of my lifestyle. And so we're dealing with it, and it's not easy, but I'm very excited to start the next chapter. And at the end of the day, I know I have to be involved in baseball. That's what makes me happy, and that's who I am.
Yeah. Would you say you have a coaching philosophy?
Shit, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. My biggest thing, you know what I will say is I'll never forget how hard this game is.
Right.
I'll never forget how hard this game is, and I feel like I've been through. I mean, a lot of people can say that they've been through it all. I truly feel like I've been through it all, from success, failure, trade, injury, top prospect, suspect, released, designated, traded. I honestly feel like I have been through it all, and I feel like I can relate. And I think that's why I'm going to be hopefully all right at it. And again, my biggest philosophy is don't forget how hard this game is, because anyone can say it's easy in the grandstands, you know what I mean? But until you've actually experienced it, I mean, this game will eat you up and chew you out. So don't forget that, and I think I'll be all right.
I got some rapid fire questions for you.
Oh, God. Okay. All right. Let's do it.
All right. Favorite MLB stadium?
Skydome.
Favorite MLB manager?
I got a couple, I guess. No, Eric Wedge.
Really? Okay.
Eric Wedge.
I wasn't expecting Eric Wedge.
Eric Wedge.
All right. Who was your favorite teammate?
Justin Smoke, Kyle Seager.
Favorite Canadian teammate?
Dalton Pompey.
Who's the fastest guy that you've played with?
No, take that back.
Okay.
We got to run it back. Run it back. Canadian teammate, not in the big leagues? God, I could go on forever on this one. No.
All of the above?
Edit. Edit. Can we edit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Put me on the spot. These rapid fire questions. I would say, honest to God, I would say Dustin Mulliken and Renee Tassoni.
Okay.
Yep.
Out of all the dudes that you've played with, who was the fastest to the post-game spread?
Fastest to the post-game spread. It's all. I'm telling you this. It is always the bullpen pitchers.
Tassoni said the same thing,
and they don't do jack shit. So it's always the bullpen pitchers. I mean, a lot of those guys don't pitch for 5 days in a row, and then the first one's the spread. It's unbelievable.
Tassoni said the exact same thing.
Did he really?
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, scale 1 to 10. How's your BP game?
Am I hitting or throwing?
Throwing.
Oh, negative. Hey, so this is my first coaching experience. Now to COVID, I'm at home, but I was down at not at Instructs. I was down at spring training, and I've thrown 3 groups, and I've hit 4 people in 3 groups. And I'm talking. I've gotten through one total group. I've gotten through one total group once.
Oh no.
The other 3 groups, I've had to have bring in a reliever. My BP is atrocious.
Oh no.
Like I said, hey, you put me out in the outfield, 150 feet, I can throw one hop and hit an ass. I'll tell you that right.
How's scale 1 to 10? How's your fungo game?
I don't know. That's remained to be seen. I'll say 7.
Okay.
I'll say a 7.
Tentative
my fun
7.
was a lot better in my BP.
Tentative 7. All right.
Yeah.
Did you prefer Arizona spring training or Florida spring training?
Pre-kids, Arizona. Kids and family, Florida.
Why?
Beaches, there's way more to do. I was blessed. My 3 spring trainings were Clearwater. Both 15 and 16 with Toronto, 17 with Philadelphia. We lived on Clearwater Beach all 3 years.
Nice. What's your favorite baseball movie?
Bull Durham.
Renee Tassoni's. Oh no, that was Louis Boyd's answer. If you know who that is.
Okay.
Tassoni said Sandlot.
Can't go wrong.
Yeah. Who were you most nervous to meet coming up?
Most nervous to meet coming up. Probably, I don't know. Probably my first manager. I don't know. Honestly, it wasn't a coach. It wasn't a player. First player I literally ever met. I never went to a big league camp. So I came up in mid-July. I wasn't in big league camp prior to them. The first player I met was Griffey.
Yeah.
And he was great. It's like I had known the guy for years. I think the most nervous I was to actually meet my manager and get on the field.
That was Don, right? Wakamatsu?
Wakamatsu was my first manager, yeah.
First manager.
And he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
But
you already actually answered this one. I was going to say Safeco or Skydome.
Gotta go Skydome, man. I mean,
To play at too?
I think honestly, I think Safeco is prettier, but Skydome's got a much. It's not even Skydome Rogers Center, but forever will be Skydome in my heart.
Right.
Sentimental meaning, fans, playing there as a Canadian with the Jays uniform. It's unbelievable, man. The experience there is unbelievable, and the Mariners fans had my back too. Don't get me wrong, they did, and I loved every minute of it. But there's something special about being a Canadian to play for the Jays. Right. And again, it'll never be the Rogers Center. It'll always be the Skydome for me.
Playing outfield on turf or grass?
Grass, 100%. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
That's the easiest question you've given me so far.
Well, that's the last one, so you're good to go.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So just to wrap up, there's a 17-year-old Mike Saunders somewhere. What do you have to say to them? Do you have any advice?
Yeah, my biggest advice is learn how to fail. That's my biggest advice is you learn more from failure than you do from success. And I don't mean this in a bad way. My first experience of failure when it came to baseball was when I first got called up. I know that's not the same for a lot of people, but it was for me. And my career almost ended because of it. And I didn't know how to deal with it at the time. I was young. I got called up when I was 22. My biggest thing was for when I was 22, 23, and 24, I experienced failure for the first time, and it was so bad that I didn't think I belonged. I didn't think I could play in the major leagues, and I was ready to give up baseball. And I didn't even know what else I was going to do, but I was so sick and tired of it because I didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
So for me, my advice would be you're going to fail eventually. You'll learn more from that than you do from succeeding. And just learn from failure because it's important.
So how do you control failure, like in terms of the practice kind of realm? Like when you're practicing, is it more about just making sure that you're trying things that are new and being okay if you're not very good at it?
Open to it, yeah.
Yeah.
Open to it. It's hard to tell this to a young player, because they don't know who they are yet normally. But as a manager now, my biggest thing when I look at my players is that guy knows who he is. That guy knows who he is. That guy understands who he is as a player and what he does well. If you can figure that out, and it will change as you get older, but again, you won't ever learn that until you fail. There's not many Albert Pujols. Even Mike Trout failed. The greatest player, arguably, ever to play the game. He failed for the first 2 times he got called up. There's the Albert Pujols who never failed a day in their life. I mean, they went through struggles, but when they reached the big leagues, they went through and did what they did. But for me, that wasn't my story. For 99.9% of players, that's not their story. I think it's learn what you do or learn why you failed. Teach yourself. Next time you get that opportunity, hopefully you're better prepared for it. Again, my dad always told me that you'll learn more from failure than you do from success. So how do you handle it?
Yeah.
So figure out who you are as a player. It's going to take some time. You may have never failed a day in your life. It's going to happen eventually. But how mentally strong are you? What's your fortitude, and are you ready for it? And I hope that you never have to fail a day in your life, but chances are it's going to happen. So
yeah. Last question before I let you go. Kids are sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing right now. For the young baseball players out there, what can they do with their time?
I don't know, man. Don't throw it away. It's like you don't need to necessarily concentrate on baseball either. Get outside. I mean, even if it's your backyard, do something. Shoot some hoops. I'm a big advocate of being an athlete rather than just a baseball player. Especially you said a young player, right?
Yeah. Anybody. Just get outside. Walk the dog. Do something. It's really tough right now. Like. Thank God my wife is a teacher, so she's teaching my kids. I've been a designated substitute PE teacher, where I'm teaching my son how to ride his bike. We're shooting hoops right now. I got a 7, a 5, and a 2-year-old, so we're outside, and I'm kind of that guy right now. But don't let this beat you up, man. This is just a bump in the road. We'll always remember this. We'll look back at this as essentially an era, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Unfortunately, but don't let it beat you up. I know it sucks right now, but get outside, have some fun, keep your distance, play with your brothers and sisters, and before you know it, this will be a memory.
Any merit to the conspiracy that the Astros made up the COVID-19?
Oh, Jesus. In that trash can, make it up?
Yeah.
Just to take heat off them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Distract everybody.
I have no idea. Don't cheat. Don't cheat, kids.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mike. I appreciate this, man. This has been really cool.
All right, brother. Take care, man.
You too.
Thank you for having me on.
All right. Stay safe out there.
You too. Bye.
All right.